Hi Sequels friends! Alright, it is the first Friday of a new month and you know what that means. Let's talk about February sales. Hi Sequels friends! Alright, let's get into it. Let's talk about February sales. Before we do that, let me introduce myself. My name is Heather and I am a part-time reseller across various platforms, and I like to use this YouTube channel to document my journey. Can't talk about February sales without talking about the elephant in the room, which is the Poshmark algorithm. I've heard several resellers say that the changes helped them. It did not help me. My sales quit about the first week of February, and they are still slower than they have been, although the algorithm has changed. So you are definitely going to see that reflected in my sales, and you're definitely going to see that when we talk about sales by platform. To get that negativity out of the way, on a positive note, my sales did increase from last February, which was the worst month of me for 2021, but I did have a slight decrease from January. A little bit discouraging because if that algorithm had not had its problems, I probably would have increased my sales to January. But such is the way of reselling. It really shows you when a platform goes, you need to be on your toes, you need to come up with a new game plan, and you'll notice again when we talk about platforms that I did just that. So let's talk numbers. Overall, I grossed $1,648.30. Not too shabby at all for a part-time reseller. The net, what I put in my bank account after platform fees, any shipping costs, any discounts, any offers, all of the like, came to $1,006.79. As I said, that was a 10% decrease to my sales in January, which were $1,114 and change, but it was an increase of 14% to February 2021. So still things are right on track. Overall, I sold 59 units, pretty similar to most months, and my average sales price took another bit of a nosedive. Came in at $17.06 versus my $17.65 for January. This is hard for me. You guys know I pushed to get over $20. I'd held steady at over $20, but between January being markdown month and February Poshmark issues, I was pretty much taking offers on anything that I could. So I anticipated a bit of this nosedive. On a positive note, when you compare February last year to February this year, I was only bringing in an average sale price of $14.74, and everything was working then. So I'm still on the right track. I sold through a lot of clearance. 17% of the items that I sold through were clearance. That is down from January, which you would anticipate. January is always a month where shoppers are looking for clearance items. But normally I come in at 8 or 9%. And when I look back on February of last year, I came in at about the same 17%. So they are still looking for deals in February, and if last March sales are any indication, things should shoot back up to normal then. Overall, I thought it would be interesting to let you guys know I am holding about 20% of my total inventory in markdowns. I am trying to be a little bit more diligent about marking down fairly quickly if something's not working, thanks to watching many resellers like you guys on YouTube or on TikTok. I've noticed people are much more advantageous about markdowns, so I am trying to be as well, though I do hold on to vintage a little bit more because that does move a little bit slower. Overall, 28% of my goods netted me $20, and 37% of my items that sold were vintage, and that is up from the 32% in January. Next week, if you aren't already subscribed, you'll want to go ahead, hit that subscribe button, ring-a-ding-ling that bell so you get notified. I am finally putting together a how to identify vintage, tips for vintage, just a little video that gives beginners a guide to sourcing vintage. I know you guys have been asking for this, and of course we can do more in-depth videos if you guys are enjoying that series. Moving right along, let's get into sales by category. Here is my handy dandy chart that you guys have grown to love. Only 2 categories jumped out this month, and they are highlighted in sequels pink. The home category is one of the top sellers this month, which you don't see often, but I did get a big influx of inventory from my partner's mom that I am selling for him. And then also always up there on the top are shoes, which are going strong again. Those two categories highlighted in gray are just a note for me that I have sold through pretty much all of my inventory in those categories, so it may be time to get another men's thread up box and to start looking in the men's category when I'm out thrifting. Let's talk about sales by platform. There is my chart, and you will notice another platform on there. Yes, I started cross-listing to Mercari. I have been experimenting with List Perfectly to see how that works for keeping track of all my inventory and easily deleting items. And since I have that, I figured I might as well start trying to cross-list to Mercari, as Poshmark had taken a nosedive. Now, when I look at my old Mercari sales, the reason why I ended up getting off Mercari was because I was only selling lower price items. So what I did was I started at the lowest and started cross-listing them over, and I've definitely made sales. Not a huge amount of money, but it is getting rid of some of my clearance items, which either way, as long as I make a little bit of money, don't lose any money, that's money I put in my pocket so that I can go out thrifting to get some better quality goods that hopefully will sell at a better price. So let's talk about it. 26% of the units were done on Poshmark, bringing in 24% of the dollars. eBay, holy cow, can you believe it? 41% of the units brought in 34% of the dollars. Etsy, 14% of the total unit sales on 22% of the dollars. I always make more money on Etsy. I mark a little higher. I do offer free shipping, but I do mark up to account for it. And that customer doesn't offer discounts and they pay full price. Mercari, as I said, brought in less than 20 bucks, but it did get rid of 5 items that I had. So it did 9% of the units, only 2% of the dollars. And some of those household items that I mentioned, I sold on Facebook Marketplace. So I ended up doing 5% of the units and bringing in 8% of the dollars. Let's get to the fun part and talk about what the BOLO items were for this month. As per usual, since I'm selling almost 40% of my inventory in vintage, you're gonna see a lot of vintage items like this one right here. These are those Bebe slides. I know you've seen these in a few videos. These came in a Jomar shoebox. I cannot remember if it was the vintage or the pre-loved. I sold them on eBay, had them listed for $44, took an offer all in at $49, and netted $35.45. Another pair of vintage shoes. These are Salvador Ferragamo. I ended up buying these at a thrift store when I went out thrifting over in Tennessee with a friend. I paid up for these, paying $11 because I had recently got a pair of vintage Ferragamo, probably in a Jomar shoebox, and they sold well for me. These ended up selling on Thrilling, all in at $79, and I ended up making $59.10 after platform fees and cost of goods. This jewelry box, which you guys might have seen in my makeover jewelry box. If not, I will go ahead and link that above and below for you. The first one sold fairly quickly. This one's been sitting for a little while. It did end up selling. Again, I was not really planning on making money on these, just playing around for fun and experimenting with a DIY. But I did end up selling this for 20 bucks. Vintage 70s boho peasant dress. I think this is the one that I got in that Jomar box that sold right away. Yes, sold within 3 days. Very Gun Sachs-esque vibes. It ended up selling on eBay, and I sold it all in at an offer of $88.19. That sounds like it has some tax in there, and ended up netting $63.52. These vintage Cherokee overalls, I ended up getting these from my partner's mom. I did a small little haul. You can go and look in my shorts section and you will see that I did a YouTube short on it. I wasn't sure about these because I'm not sure. I believe they're 90s, but they're just Cherokee brand. I listed them for $49. Somebody came and bought them on Etsy for full price of $49, but do remember I offer free shipping, so I ended up netting $38.35 on those. Love this Barclay vintage necklace. This came in a Jomar vintage jewelry box. I'm still selling through this, so I haven't been able to do an update, but you guys know if you go into my playlists, you can see all my unboxings from different vendors. So if you see something here and it triggers you to think that maybe you want to try that box, just hit those playlists and you can look through, and any ones that I have updates for you will find in the playlist. This I ended up taking a offer on eBay I had it listed for $39, took an offer of $35.19 all in, and ended up netting $23.14. Hey, guess what? Some more vintage clothing, and also guess what? Yes, it came from a recent vintage clothing spring summer box, the same one that Gun Sachs S dress came from, and I was in love with this, and it sure sold within less than 2 weeks. I had it listed for $59, or nope, I had it listed for $49. eBay, somebody came, bought it full price, all in at $57.99, and I netted $34.79. Peter Fox white pumps. These came in, hey, is there a trend here? A Jomar vintage shoebox. I sold these on Poshmark, had them listed for $59, took an offer of $53, and netted $37.19. What's that? More vintage clothing? Heck yeah. 70s dresses. If you guys aren't peeping for 70s dresses when you are out in the wild, be sure to be on the lookout. I've had this one for over a year, I believe. Yeah, I bought it in January of last year, and it's been sitting dead stock new with tags. I think I had it listed for something crazy, probably like $79 like the other one, but I've slowly lowered it throughout the year, and so it was down to $39. Somebody bought it on Poshmark for $39, and I netted $26.40 after cost of goods. Watch my travel to thrift in Charlotte from this past summer. You'll know that I fell in love with this gold frame, 3-dimensional cat pink framed wall art. I have had it listed on Facebook since then. Nobody's wanted it. I've had it sitting in my office, and it kind of goes with my decor. You've probably seen it in my most recent office walkthrough video. I'm starting to fall in love with this, and sure enough, when I gave up all hope and said nobody's probably ever going to buy it, somebody comes in and buys it. Now I'm kind of missing it, but that's fine. It made her happy, and it ended up netting me $45.01 because she bought it for $50, and then that took out the $4.99 cost of goods. Hey, guess what? Some more vintage shoes, and they are Charles Jordan. Yes, I got a bunch of Charles Jordan shoes in a Jomar box, and this is the last pair to sell. They have all sold, and they have all netted me over $20. If you ever see this brand from the 90s out in the wild, pick it up, especially if it is in nice condition. These do have some flaws. They had some scuffing on them. Totally dead stock, but showroom scuffing, it happens. I ended up selling these on Poshmark, took an offer for $30, although I had them listed for $49 because shit was getting real and I had to take some offers, but I still netted $20.62. Here's some of the household items that I mentioned that my partner's mom got for me to sell for him. This is just a white farmhouse picture, no markings on it, but very pretty. I ended up selling this for $15 on Facebook Marketplace, but they did also pay for shipping, and I did end up making a little bit of money on that shipping, and I came in all in at $20.14. This is another item that sold from my Charlotte Travel to Thrift series. I love this. It is so stinking cute. It has been my most viewed item on Etsy pretty much since it's listed, but it has been sitting. I lowered it to $29 on every platform, but left it at $39 on Etsy because I needed to cover the free shipping. Ended up selling it on Etsy for $39 and netted $22.57. Still not a bad little flip. Double D Ranch. This one is so much fun. I grabbed this in the bins, and it did have a tag on it, which makes me think that it was sold at a vintage, either a consignment store locally or one of those vintage boutiques. I had to pick it up anyways. It was a small, but with Western wear being a thing and just, you know, all the oversized button goodness, I had to pick it up, and I'm paying bins prices, so I paid a whopping $1.11 for it on that bins trip. I ended up selling this one on Poshmark, had it listed for $69, took an offer for $62, and netted $46.77. I'm telling you, one person's trash is another person's treasure. It doesn't matter if it looks like it's, I've sold things that people have donated that had Etsy shops and it didn't sell. You never know. Don't be hesitant to think because another reseller didn't sell it that you can't sell it. 3 more to go, and we have this. Oh, I've had this for a while too, since summer of last year. It is and I think I got this in my Travel to Thrift Black Mountain series. It is a really pretty Kelly Green 80s Tanjay wool blend skirts. Wool blend skirts always do really well for me, but this one took some time. I think because it's pencil, if you're looking for wool, you should really look for midi and the pleated. Those seem to move really fast and for good money. Let's see, I sold it on Etsy, had it listed for $39. Had it listed for $44 on Etsy because I had to cover that shipping. They bought it for $44 and I ended up netting $31.33. Hey, guess what? Some more vintage clothing. This is another item that I got from a bin strip. It was that same bin strip as the Double D shirt, so it cost me $1.11. I ended up selling this one also on Etsy. Love this blazer, love these longer blazers, especially the less structured ones. Everything about this I loved. I almost kept it for myself, but you know, as soon as I look up that things can make money, it is hard to keep things for myself. I just thrifted this for $6, and I'm telling you, if I looked it up and it would make me more than 20 bucks, it would have been online, but thank goodness it's not going for more than 20 or 25. So it's mine now. But you wait, next summer, this shit will be online for sale, and I'll probably make $20, $25 on it. Don't you love being a reseller? Anyways, back to the yellow blazer. I had this one listed for $59. I did end up lowering the price to $49, but left it $59 on Etsy. Sold it on Etsy for $59 and netted $44.32. I'm telling you guys, look for those non-structured blazers and look for the ones that hit below the hip. The 80s, late 80s, early 90s style, they are moving. And then last up, another item that I sold out of that was given to me by my partner's mom to sell for him. It is this vintage JCPenney sheet set, and it's not a full sheet set. It was just the flat sheet and 2 pillowcases. I ended up selling this one again on Etsy, and they were all in at $34, and I ended up making $23.85. Again, no cost of goods there, but if you could find something like this on the cheap, it would still be worth it, and it would make you 20 bucks. And don't be afraid to grab sheet sets that don't have all the pieces. You could pair this easily with a white fitted sheet and it would look fabulous. I did tag this fabric yardage. You see so many folks on TikTok. If you are a sewer or you like to watch people upcycle, a great way for them to get really cool vintage fabric is to thrift sheets and pillowcases and stuff to make items. So I did tag that fabric yardage. Don't know if they used it for fabric or not, but it is definitely a worthwhile tag. Hope you guys found this what sold video useful, helpful, and informative. If you did, feel free to hit that like button. I really do appreciate it. And I'm getting so close to my subscriber goal of 1,000. I'm sitting here slow and steady trying to win the race over here. So if you haven't subscribed, take pity on me on this point. Hit that subscribe button and help me get to over 1,000 subscribers. I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you guys for watching. Love ya, and I will see you next Friday with some more reselling content. Have a great week, guys, and weekend. Bye. All right, let's get right into sales by platform, which I didn't put on the sheet. Okay, moving right along, let's get into